Hello, Nomads. Welcome to episode 10 of the Nomads of Fantasy. Nomads of Fantasy podcast, and I'm leaving that in.
Good start.
My name is Brandon. I am the host of this show, and I am with Eric and Dave. Eric, say hello.
What's going on?
And I said say hello. You did not.
Oh, hi.
You refuse to say what I told you to say.
It's going against the
grain.
grain.
I don't have to listen to you.
Enough of you. Silence. Dave, would you please say hello?
Hello, Internet. It is Dave. Welcome.
Well, yes, we're having a banger of a time. We're actually on a day away from when we usually do it. We usually record on Thursdays, and today's a Friday, so I think we're cutting a little loose today. I don't know if you noticed that. But yeah, and we're a little excited because we've been cracking out on indie video games since we last recorded. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, indie video games.
Independent video games.
Yeah, not Indiana Jones games like on the Atari.
That could be a good podcast, though. I don't know.
Is there any good Indiana Jones video games out there? I've never played a single one of them.
There's supposed to be one coming out, though, right? Indiana Jones.
Bethesda's about to put one out. Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, but no, we're talking independent games.
I got PC. There were a couple good ones back in the day, but
yeah. And Eric, you probably could give us a definition of it. Actually, let's catch up. What have you guys been up to? I know this is something we like to do. So yeah, Eric, what have you been doing? What have you been playing? What have you been watching? I probably know. It's Ghosts of Tsushima, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a quick one for me. It's Ghosts of Tsushima. Still cranking on that. I'm pretty obsessed with that still. It's got its hooks in me. I don't know. It's nice. I feel like it's been a while since a game, especially an open world game, has had its hooks in me like this. I feel like a lot of times I fall off open world games just because, I don't know, I get overwhelmed. They take so long to finish sometimes. I was on Horizon for a while, Horizon Zero Dawn, but I fell off that a little bit. But this one I could see me finishing through. I mean, it's, I think I'm like 15 hours in, so I probably have about 10 hours left. And they just announced the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut also coming out for PS4 and PS5.
I saw that.
Yeah, so...
Is there anything cool in there? Is there DLC for that?
Yeah, it adds like an entire new island, a bunch of new story content. So that's really exciting. And then it has like PS5 enhancements, all that type of stuff, some like quality of life improvements. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, for PS5, it's like a $30 upgrade, but for me, it's worth it because I only bought the game for $30 anyways, so... I mean, it equals out there to
you gotta
an even
pay
60
for the upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with extra content, extra DLC. So, I mean, it's like paying for another story DLC and like,
fair.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey or something. They got all their story DLC. But yeah, I'm excited for that. That's about all I've been playing besides what we're going to talk about. I revisited a couple of the indie games that I'm going to mention, but I'll save that for the later section.
Yeah, what about you, Dave? Or did you have something else?
No, I was just going to mention watching about halfway through season 5 of My Hero Academia.
Oh.
Got the shirt on and everything.
Saw that.
Representing, so it's good. It's good stuff. But that's it for me.
Nice. It's not bad. It was just a holiday, so I didn't get much in either. Played a little bit.
Dave hosted a wedding at his house of some kind, right?
Yeah, that was it. That was pretty intense, but it took up most of my week. So it turns out having a wedding at your house is no small ordeal.
Sounds like hell.
No, it was fun. A lot of fam time, but I did get in a little bit of Stardew with the kids one day. Played a bit of that, and I got back into Fallout 76 on a couple of those short nights that I had a little bit of time. It's something I just wanted to jump into and play because I was going to get into ESO again, but that one had to update. So
when's that new 76 stuff come out? Like the Brotherhood of Steel stuff?
More stuff just came out. Reign of Steel,
is that
something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that just came out too, but I haven't quite gotten into that section of the DLC. But I've been cracking out on a phone game, if I can throw that in here too. We don't really talk about phone games, but it's just an idle clicker. It's a good time waster when you just want to turn your brain off. But you watch A go up, you buy B, and then you combine A and B and you get C. But it's called Idle Apocalypse, where you're the bad guy.
It's a cool name.
Yeah. And you're just, you're churning out like goblins and bats and skeletons and stuff to go fight heroes. But as you like upgrade them, you unlock the next one and it just keeps going. And then you eventually trigger an apocalypse, try and murder everything. And then the whole world resets. And then you kind of start it all over again with, some different stuff. So it's just been a fun little time waster, but, I haven't really been, have family in town. So watched a couple Harry Potters, all that kind of those, nice little filler movies. Filler at this point because I've seen them like 1,000 times, but
that Idle Apocalypse artwork is really good. I just Googled it and I'm just catching up on that game and
it's very pixel graphic-y.
I love that. Ugh.
But yeah, it's a cool little one. There's like no ads in it unless you like really want ads, unless you can speed up timers if you watch a 30-second thing or that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was pretty good, but not too much. I've still got to catch up on Loki. I'm one behind now. And not too much on the hopper, but
damn. Okay, because that's what I was going to talk about. I watched the latest episode of
Number
Loki.
4? 5?
Yeah,
4.
I didn't like it.
No,
I did not like the episode. I did not like it. You haven't watched it, so I won't say why I didn't like it. It was all over the place. I really liked episode 1 and 2. I thought, again, this is like a cool concept, like with WandaVision, which is cool. It was just different. I was like, okay, I can get behind this. It's weird, but I'm here for the ride. And then, like, how I had my concerns once they kind of revealed who that woman character was. I was like, all right. And honestly, it's not her. It's just the storyline where it goes after meeting her. That's now that I know what my concerns were, and I would be curious. You know what we'll do though? We'll do a Loki review probably on the show of some capacity, and we can talk about it then. Eric, are you watching it at all, or?
No, I'm gonna have to end up binging that like I did with Invincible.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
No, I haven't watched any of that yet, but I'm planning to. It's on my short list of shows to watch.
Although I'll say, if you are a Loki fan, if you're a Marvel fan, like you've read the comics and you're aware of all the things that are going on with just, I don't know, with the whole collection of Marvel comics and all the stories that are back in there, I think you'll probably have a blast. Like I learned, I'm not to ruin it, but like there's an Easter egg of a character, and it's like a Thor, but it's like a frog, so it's like Throg, I think it's what his name is. It's like a Thor frog. I guess that's a character in the comics in some capacity, but he has a brief scene. Yeah, so it's, to me, I think it's like a tribute to fans. It just fell flat on me. I didn't like a lot of the stuff that I saw in it. Really, the ending was like kind of cool, I guess, but whatever. Anyway, that's enough of it. So, okay, yeah, and I didn't really play anything because I played indie games.
Anything else good?
No, unless you talk about the usual, like Warzone. Like, I've been getting back into Halo.
Nice.
Oh no, hold on, real quick. Actually, there is a game on my Xbox. It came out in the 360. I don't know how I got it. Gold probably gave it to for free. I didn't buy it, and it was not on Game Pass. And it's called like Uprising, and it's something Uprising, hardcore Uprising hardcore, something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a Konami game, but it's a Contra ripoff with like way more. Dude, it's a Contra ripoff, and I was like, oh my god, I've had a Contra clone on my Xbox this whole time with like more modern graphics. I don't know, it's kind of got this anime look to it. The first boss at the end of the first level is just like Contra. They even do that big wavy kind of thing where you hit the football like thing and it falls down. You get the guns are cool. Just more of a modern Contra, but yeah, Uprising is like the main name in the game. So I don't know. If you like Contra, check that game out.
I have online on it? Is that local?
I don't know. Honestly, I just discovered this the other day. My kid and I were just crushing through all the games on my my Xbox and just picking things out. Like, never played this, let's try it. And I'm like, oh my god. And he liked it, so I'm kind of pumped to play more of it with him. But yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Nice.
So indie games, independent games that were, you know what, Eric, why don't you define what we mean when we say independent games?
I mean, we were discussing this a little bit in Discord about what defines an independent video game. I feel like there's a little bit of gray area there, but what I consider to be an indie game is a video game developed. It could either be developed and published by the same studio, like self-published, or developed by an independent studio and published by an independent publisher or another independent studio. And when we say independent, we mean that this studio isn't owned by, you know, a huge corporation like Sony or Microsoft or, you know, Nintendo or anything like that. Those would fall into like the AAA space. And what makes indie games so special is, you know, creating something super unique and creative with, you know, limited budget, a small team, and, you know, just seeing what can come out of just a passion project. And that's a lot of what indie games are, is just passion projects. Like, they make what they want to make. There's no, you know, big corporate big wigs at the top, Mr. Moneybags, EA over there trying to tell, you know, these developers what to make.
Loot boxes.
They just make exactly. Yeah, they make what they want to make. They put it out there and hope people like it. So that's kind of the spirit of independent development.
I think musicians can relate to that whole thing too. And I mean, I'm the guy that has a bachelor's degree in fine arts. You know, I'm a designer by trade. Like, that's, you're talking to a creative person, and I fully support it. I think that's why I wanted to do this topic, just because the creativity and the innovation they bring to the industry, it's just, I don't know, not enough people talk about. Maybe they do, but I feel looking
like there has been a genesis of indie games in recent years. Like, we're seeing more and more indie games in, like, you know, Game of the Year talks and, you know, talking about indie games on the biggest, you know, gaming podcasts. I mean, you still don't see them on, like, obviously ads on like TV and stuff, but they're getting a lot more attention than they used to when they first started.
Games like Hades, I think, is get buzz, and
Hades is a good example. Yeah, I mean, that one blew up. That's been huge. And I actually did see like an ad for that on, like, you know, YouTube ads and stuff like that. So that, I feel like that one is huge.
The Outer Wilds, people were hemming and hawing about it for their game of the year for a while. I mean, I played it, but I didn't think it didn't hook me.
It's an interesting game. No, but like Minecraft, I mean, good Lord, you know. Actually, it's funny because like the indie games are the ones usually that blow up the biggest, right? It's like PUBG. That was huge out of nowhere for a while. You know, so yeah, it's like the passion that drives
sometimes
these things.
You don't get the hype for a lot of them.
Exactly.
That, like,
a good idea is a good idea.
You don't see it coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what it is. But so here's a question though. But do you look at like Team 17 and Devolver Digital as still okay under the independent title, because it's more of it's a larger effort, but it still respects the
Right.
independent developer. They're just a bigger platform.
I
They
think-
just get a cut, I guess, because of the
Yeah,
publisher.
I think
They have-
definitely Devolver. I mean, Devolver has to be like the biggest publisher of indie games today. Like everything, you see tons of indie
More
games
than Team
published by Devolver
17?
Digital. I feel like I see Devolver way more, but I mean, I could think of a ton of
True. I mean, they
Devolvers
go
off my
on
head.
E3.
Right, exactly. I mean, they have their own like E3 conference now. But like you said, I feel like they still respect the
Especially nowadays. I see them
yeah.
all over the place.
people, publishers like them still respect the spirit of the indies. Like they I feel like a very important part of independent game development is giving developers 100% like creative freedom to do whatever they want. And then the publisher just comes in and distributes it and puts it out there and might give them some funding, but 100% creative freedom, I think, is a very important part of indie development.
Yeah. What do you have to say about that, Dave?
No, there's a couple of mine that like went between, like there's a couple of weird ones that like, I don't know, they got popular and then they got re-released, or their company got scooped up, or all sorts of stuff. So, I didn't put mine in specific order, but I guess I can start.
Yeah, we'll just go around, say
Yeah,
each
we
one.
used to have 5 that we picked to kind of keep this under control, because we've played so many amazing independent games. So we could go on and on. But yeah, Eric was like, 15 is a good number, and I agree. So that's 5 each. But yeah, Dave, kick us off.
Technically, I did.
What do you got?
Technically, I did rank mine, but that's whatever. It doesn't have to be.
Oh, I didn't.
In regards to ranking. But yeah, Dave, kick it off.
We'll start off with one of my earlier favorites. Came out on 360, Bastion, by Supergiant Games, which
Mhm.
they've gotten a lot more visibility over the years with their next couple releases. But they, I should start with Bastion is a action role playing game. You're looking at I guess it's like The Kid from an isometric view, and it's, you're dodging, you're rolling, you're swinging, you're collecting
Awesome artwork.
weapons, you're leveling up stuff. But the coolest part about it, is it's like a hand painted kind of artwork, and then there is a dynamic narrator that reacts to stuff that's going on the screen, or if you're standing around, he'll start making commentary about how the kid just stood around and did nothing. But the dynamic narrator and the art
you
style
guys,
on that one is
I
super
brought
good.
this up to you about that narrator.
Yeah.
You like that? Okay, because that was my turn off to the game. I love I want to go back
I
and
liked
finish
it.
it, but I was
It's got like a Western
I did
sound
not
to it,
match.
kind of.
I remember
Oh.
liking that
oh, that's
a lot.
what
I
you're
mean,
trying to do?
I played it relatively recently, like a couple years ago. I remember, when it first came out, it was like revolutionary. Like no game had ever really done that before. And you don't really see many games attempting to do that these days. But
Oh no, it is a cool concept.
I remembered enjoying it. I don't remember ever getting annoyed with the narrator. I thought it was like charming. It was kind of a goal when I was playing through that to like get him to say all these different lines by doing different things. I remember trying to do that.
Oh really?
And it wasn't the gameplay on it wasn't like anything crazy. It was just more like,
Standard like
character action game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the story in it was kind
the
of
weapons
unique.
were cool.
Everything in it was pretty unique too, from like the story to the artwork to, like you said, the narrator. They didn't do that kind of stuff back then. So that was my first one.
Yeah.
Get
good
it
choice.
out there. Who's
Nice.
up?
What about you, Eric?
Yeah. So my number 5 is SteamWorld Heist, which I don't think either of you guys have played, have you?
Let's play
I
SteamWorld
have-
Dig.
you have?
But not
Dig-
the
yeah,
heist.
Dig.
Well, the
The
Heist is a
2D
completely different
platformer?
game.
Okay.
So there's a whole SteamWorld series, and each game is like a different genre, essentially. This is what I love about this developer. Developer is Image and Form, by the way. And I believe they are also self-published. But This game came out in 2015, originally for the 3DS, I believe, but it's pretty much out on everything nowadays. But yeah, this game. So the easiest way to describe what this game is it's like a 2D XCOM basically. So it's like a turn-based shooter. So you're kind of going through these
Dave game.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever played XCOM, you know the basic idea of it. But it's in a 2-dimensional space, which I thought was really interesting because that was like the genesis of the idea for this game. Was like they were arguing one night over like, is it possible to make a 2D version of XCOM? And then they just decided to make this game.
So you're talking like 2D, like side view or like top down?
Yep. Nope. It's side view. Side scrolling view.
Yeah, I'm looking at images of it. Yep.
So
it's cool looking.
Yeah, I love the art style of all these SteamWorld games. It's like steampunk aesthetic, and all the characters are robots. This is like post-apocalyptic after like humans have already destroyed the earth and basically these machines like rise up. And this game takes in the SteamWorld timeline. It takes place like so Earth is destroyed. The whole premise is they have to go into space, and you're following these like you play as these space pirates, like smugglers. You're going around to these different enemy ships, and you basically the way you fight them is through these turn-based combat. So you got to like line up your shots. There's all these like the weapon selection and upgrades is just fantastic. The story and the writing is funny. I feel like I always like the writing in the SteamWorld games. But yeah, I just have a certain affinity for this developer, and I think
heard good things about that game specifically. Yeah.
Heist. I really like all the SteamWorld games. SteamWorld, the Dig 1 and especially Dig 2. It was a hard choice between Dig 2, SteamWorld Dig 2 and SteamWorld Heist, because those games are like super on par with each other for me. But I just like this style of game better, like the turn-based strategy type game, which there's another game on my list that is also turn-based strategy.
Ooh.
But we can get to that later. But yes, yeah, I think as a whole, this is their Image and Form are definitely one of my favorite indie developers. And that's kind of what I have to say about that.
What's you, Brandon? What you got first?
I'm gonna kind of ease myself into. I got 3 juicy ones and then 2 kind of whatever. But Overcooked, technically is an independent game. I know it's published by Team 17, but it was developed by Ghost Town Games. And Overcooked has 2 games in the series, Overcooked and Overcooked 2. And I'm lumping them together because they're basically the same game. If you play the first one, the second one is, because the first one's amazing. And the second one is just more of the first one, and it has like the throw mechanic. So real quick, it's a party game. Think Nintendo. Think about the polish that you get with a Nintendo game. That's what they did with Overcooked. It's technically 1 player to 4 player, but I think 2 to 4 players where you really want to play this game. And all you do is just cook meals, and each level is a kitchen, and things happen in the level. I don't want to ruin it because it's kind of fun. Just kind of know it's like this really cool. Everybody kind of has a role. There's all these different moving parts, and the kitchen will have things happening in it that will throw you off. It's awesome. It's kind of cartoony, but again, it's like a Nintendo kind of polish. So just go with it. I haven't met one person, child or adult, gamer, non-gamer, who has not liked that game. Even the first few levels is enough for somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, hey, just like the first 12 levels anybody can handle if somebody's with them that knows what they're doing. It's so fun, dude. But yeah, I want to put that out there because they so deserve it. Yeah, so good job, Ghost Team Games.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I don't know what else they made, but
I feel like it's just those 2 because I haven't heard anything. But yeah, we talked about that on our co-op episode too, and amazing co-op game, especially couch co-op. 4 people I think is the way to go.
I think 4 people helps with that one too, because I play with it. I try playing that with the wife, and you're good for like the first 15 levels, and then it starts to get a little too complex, and that's where you need those other 2 extra people to kind of extra set of hands in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes a character will be like alone, or they'll sometimes 2 are here and 2 are there, or people are in specific isolated areas, so you kind of have to get your shit together on some of the harder levels. Yeah. All right, Dave. What about you? What do you have for your number 2?
Next, I wanted to bring up. I tried to pick like good experiences. These all are kind of very different. Super Hot came out. Super Hot came back out in 2016 on
such a good game.
Windows, Xbox. Came out in 2017 on PlayStation. Came out on Oculus. Came out on Switch.
I gotta give a shout out to the VR version too. I don't know if
either
of you guys have played that, but so fucking good. Like
it's gotta be amazing.
Yeah.
That's the first version of that game that I played. I played like the original version after the VR version.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't realize that they're basically 2 completely different games. Like the scenarios are completely different. Like they built an entire game around the idea of VR from the original idea, and it like
smart.
It was so cool going back to the original after playing the VR version just to see like kind of where it came from. And I mean,
smart team.
Both are so fun. But
should give it a little grounding. It's a first-person shooter, and basically only time moves when you move. So gives you time to assess the situation, kind of plan out your moves. It's kind of like a strategy first-person shooter. It's weirdly something like that, but it's very minimal art style. Everything's like black and white, and then the enemies are in red, so they just stick right out. And you basically go through these certain scenarios, more or less, and then, I don't know, the story evolves as you go through it. It's kind of Matrix-y kind of stuff, which is crazy. But that one was super unique. You're not going to find anything like that out there. That's definitely worth scooping and playing.
It gets pretty tough too. Like that last level took me a while to
I'm on the last level and I stopped. I got to go back, and I'm like, God damn it! I got to go back to that.
It took me a while.
Level.
There's an elevator scene. An elevator scene is a good one.
That was so tough. That was the first time I had to take a break from the game.
But like the VR version, if you guys can ever like get your hands on something to try out the VR, it literally makes you feel like you're Neo or John Wick or something.
So when you move your head, does time move?
Yes, that's how it does it. Instead of like the controller, you move your head, and then whenever you move your head, time moves. So you can literally watch a bullet like going past you in slow motion. And it's just the coolest thing ever.
It's like you're like
fucking sweet.
Neo.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Saying I could dodge.
All right, that's my number 2. What you got, Eric?
All right. So my next one,
Barbie.
Technically, my number 4 is I feel like mine. You guys, I feel like only one game on my list. Well, you played SteamWorld, but most of these games you guys haven't played. Golf Story is my number 4.
Never played it.
And that's
that's a Switch one, right?
But I've heard good things about it.
That's exclusive to Switch, yeah.
So
basically let's start with the so developer is Sidebar Games, developed and published by Sidebar Games. I think this was their debut title, if I'm not mistaken, and their only one to date. They're actually working on a sequel to Golf Story, but I'll get into that after I talk about the actual game. Came out in 2018.
Looks like it came out in the 90s. It has like that Super Nintendo look too. I love it.
So this, if you've ever played we were talking about Mario Golf on the last episode, which is funny because this is like an homage to the Mario Golf Advance Tour on Game Boy Advance. So it's basically a golf RPG. But it's a lot more RPG than golf, I would say. And they use the golf mechanics in a really smart way. So like, I mean, anytime you can there's a button to literally throw your ball at people, or to solve these different puzzles. You can drop a ball down like anywhere, You don't have to be on the course. You can drop it anywhere and hit a shot at something. And the way they use those mechanics is to like solve different puzzles. So say there's like a switch like behind a gate, you can drop a ball down and hit a shot and to flip a switch to open a door. Like they use the golfing mechanics in really smart ways to like fit in this RPG story. And like the story is fun, like the writing is good, the pixel art is amazing, like everything about this game is just so good. And they introduce like other sports like frisbee golf. Like I don't know, there's just a ton of variety in this game, and like
I think you're selling this game to me.
Are fun.
What is it? $60?
No, it's an indie game, so it's cheaper.
Oh, that's right.
I want to say it's like 30 or something.
Okay, I'd rather give 30 to an independent developer. I don't mind that. I just spent $15 on Night Squad 2 last night. I forget who makes it, but there you go, guys. 15 buckaroos.
Dude, yeah, it's so good. I would highly recommend it. If you have any interest at all, I don't know, like even if you're not into golf games, like
It feels like a perfect Switch game.
It is. Dude,
that's my question. I see the screens here. How much golf is actually in this golf game, in Golf Story?
So there are basically, it's your typical like golf story. Like you're trying to, you're a rookie and you want to work your way up to the pros, all this stuff. I don't remember the story exactly. It's been a while since I played it, but you're mostly going around like solving puzzles, trying to progress in the story. And there are these like tournaments that you compete in, and that's where the actual like real golf comes in. But yeah, it's basically an RPG with a golf wrapping, I would say. So Brandon, this game's $15. Buy it. You should buy it.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love that the title of it is perfect too. It's golf. And it's a story.
Exactly.
It's like, no, I love it. Yeah, I keep forgetting that this game exists.
Dude, it's so.
It looks so charming.
I
think it looks like Stardew Valley or something like that.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It has that.
That's what I got.
It's that aesthetic. Yeah. Like the animations and like pixel art is amazing. But yeah,
I'm a sucker for pixel art, man.
You should try this one out and tell me what you think. There's a sequel coming out, which I'm super excited for. It's called Sport Story. So they're expanding. It's been delayed, I think, a couple of times because they're kind of like going crazy with the sequel. So they're adding like, instead of just golf, they're adding like tennis and soccer and a bunch of other different sports. Like they made an entire campaign around like this tennis game. So they've kind of like bit off a little bit more than they can chew.
They
so
fucking
they delayed it a little bit, but I will wait for that. I'd rather wait for the whole thing.
Depends how they all rope it all in there, but
yeah, I'm super excited for the sequel. Golf Story, one of my favorite games. Like I booted it up today just to get a feel, just to remember and get the mechanics down and everything. And it makes me want to like start a new game. I don't 100% games often, but this one I actually did. Like I got everything. I did everything you can do. I got, all the top trophies, all the upgrades, everything. So I was obsessed with that game. And I think I only clocked in like 100%ing it. I clocked in at like 18 hours. So it's not super long. But it makes me want to do another run at that game. I like that game a lot.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. My second pick is N+, and I'm aware that N+ came out in 2004 originally, but I played. So it came out as N in 2004, and then it came out as N+ in 2008, and I think it was just kind of like I think it was like an old. It was a Flash game. It was a Flash game, and then it evolved into something that went onto console. So on my 360, I played it, and it was called N+. It was made by MetaNet Software. Horrible name. Sorry, guys, but yeah, that name is lame. Or maybe it's cool. I don't know, but I think it's lame. MetaNet Software. Software is what you... whatever. Sorry.
Don't make fun of these guys.
I know. Well, whatever. The name doesn't matter. The game is so fun. Have you guys played N+? Or N++, the new one that even came out more recent? Okay.
I don't think I've played this.
Okay.
Platformy, physicsy based kind of stuff, little kind of puzzles in there.
You ever Super Meat Boy? You ever play that?
I think I may have played the Flash game version way back in the day.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's like a bit with the whole game. The whole concept is a one big screen, and there's a timer, and there's these little yellow dots, and there's an exit. That's it. So your guy, all he can do is jump. And you can jump off walls, and Dave said there's physics. You hang on the wall, you slowly slide down. If you jump, but you fall too fast, you'll just explode into the ground. I don't know how to describe the artwork. It's very simple, but it's very slick and smooth. So
it's like a vector-based animation kind of.
The way they did it, yeah. And I know it's kind of like an homage to Lode Runner, like that old game from Atari and stuff. But
that was a great one.
Yeah, so it's kind of that, but you're collecting these coins or these yellow pellets, orange pellets in the air or whatever on this level, and they add to your time. But I also think, I don't know, who cares about that? Anyways, the gameplay is where it's at. It's so fun. The AI, the little sentry guns and the missile, the homing missiles and all that stuff is so cool. And it's up to 4 players, and it has a really cool level builder. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those games you just gotta check it out. Indie games, right? They're all over the place, but they're very innovative, and I just think I love that game so much. And it has I don't know, it's one of those games where there's just so many levels. I played so many of them, and I even had some friends join me with some that I got them into it, and we would crush 20 in a night. It's just let's keep going, dude. And they were like, we'll never beat this level. And then you do, and it's cool because you can do the single player campaign with people or by yourself, and then there's a campaign that's just made for co-op. So you have to hit the unlock, and this person has to unlock over here, then unlock, and then get out or something like that. It's just got a lot to offer, and it's probably super cheap too. N+, that game is fantastic. And plus is the sequel though, so maybe check that one out.
I think we played that a couple times.
Yeah,
the co-op. So when you get to the tough levels, it's tough because you could get all the way through, but then your partner dies, and then you got to reset the level and shit like that.
Yeah, dude,
that's nice because it's got the quick restart, so you're not waiting when you're resetting a level. You're just right back into it, jumping again.
Yeah,
so.
You gotta have that in a game like that, like the Super Meat Boy style, die, retry, instantly.
Yeah, there's no loading. It's just it's just like Super Meat Boy. It's just one screen. That's what you see, and that's the level. And if you die, hit A, start over. Yep. Oh yeah, back to you, Dave. What do you got?
I'm debating on one of these 3. I think I'm gonna throw a little 2D indie hack and slash named Castle Crashers next.
I remember Castle Crashers.
Castle Crashers,
and it delivered.
Yeah, this one I never played either.
Came out in 2008. Really? It's just your side scrolly hack and slasher. Came out for 360 and PlayStation 3. Well, 360 in 2008, PlayStation 2010, and then Windows, and then Xbox One, and then Switch and PS4s and all those.
It's got the alien hominid kind of artwork.
Yeah, the alien hominid is actually in there for a couple of them, but it's got a super interesting art style, and you're kind of just running around smashing stuff. It's a great game to play with kids because it's all cartoon violence where you're smashing.
It's hard.
It does get tough towards the end. So, and there are ways to run through it to
the
unlock
middle, maybe
a lot of guys. Yeah. Once you're cruising through there though, you gotta, if your guys are leveled up properly, you can get through a lot of levels, or you can go back and grind a couple levels and stuff like that. But
it's a fun game.
It's just got a unique cartoony kind of art style to it. I remember seeing it at a couple PAXs and playing it there, so that one always was a good memory of getting those in early. But that, I mean, like, yeah, the gameplay wasn't too crazy. It's a hack and slasher, so you're not like reinventing the wheel, but it started with 4 characters, and each one has a different power, so you got different magic. So there's a fire, ice, poison, and electricity guys to start with, but then you start unlocking. They had a couple DLCs that came out for it, and you unlock guys as you go, but that was probably pretty cheap these days.
I think it came from on sale on Xbox at least.
Might have been like an old. It came from like the Newgrounds like Flash game kind of background. So they did release the remastered version, which has like the Pink Knight and the Purple Knight and all sorts of other knights to go along with it. But that one's got a ton of replayability because kids just like to run around and smash dudes.
Pets. Dave, don't forget, the pets is awesome. There are always these random pets throughout the level, and you can unlock them, and each pet has like a different like ability that grants your character. So it's, I don't know. I thought that was like a really cool mechanic.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I'm talking about 2008 at this point, so that's, a while back when indies weren't going as crazy as they are these days, but
that game came out in 2008?
Yeah, definitely recommend. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm getting old. It's 2021, and I'm just thinking like
13 years
I feel like
old
the game
point.
came out like 6 years ago. Oh my god.
Guys, you guys want to feel old? Guess how old I was in 2008.
Oh my god, don't do this to me, Eric, you young
Can you legally drink?
12.
Oh, are you kidding me? No, I was 13.
Yep, I was close.
14, yep.
Yikes.
Yeah, I was adult age. I don't even remember how old I was. I don't want to think about it. Anyways, all right. Anything else you want to say about that game, Dave?
No, I'm good. You're up, Eric.
All right. Let's talk about some Hades. I know you
we're waiting patiently for Xbox.
That's on my needs playlist.
But
yeah, it's coming out on Xbox soon. This was also developed and published by Supergiant Games, the same as Bastion that we talked about earlier. So this released in early access in 2018 on Steam, but got a full release last year for Switch, PC, and I want to say that's it. It might be on PS4. I'm not sure, but I played it on Switch, and it's a perfect Switch game. So think, if you've played Bastion, just think Bastion like on cocaine, basically. Like the
oh, okay.
Like the combat is so much faster and more fluid, and like they've just honed everything that, the combat that they took from Bastion and just honed it and made it faster and put it into Hades.
I cannot wait to play this game.
And the wrapping around it is really awesome. Like, it's like Greek mythology, which I'm really into, so I'm always a sucker for that. Basically, you play as the son of Hades, and you're trying to escape the underworld, just because you hate your dad, essentially, and you want to get out and see what's out there and go, meet the gods of Olympus and all this stuff. Like, I don't want to give away any big story beats. There's lots of like mystery surrounding it, and it's cool.
Is there a story?
There is a story, a good story too.
Okay.
So the thing about this game, it is a roguelike, but they create a story around it, essentially. So they give like a good reason why you're dying over and over again, because like you're trying to escape hell. Hades, your dad, employs all these demons and everything to kill you. And every time they successfully kill you, they send you back to your dad, essentially, and then you have to go up and talk to him and be like, yeah, you suck. He basically tells you suck, you're never going to escape. And obviously, you keep trying and trying until you eventually do. And it's just really good. Like, the writing in this game is fantastic. Like, it's amazing. All the voice acting is incredible. The characters are awesome. Like, I can't say enough good things about this game.
It's coming out on Xbox in August, so as soon as that hits,
you guys need to
that's
play
on
that.
I'm day one in that one.
Yeah. I to get like apparently to get like the true ending, you have to beat this game like 10 times. I've only beat it once so far. It's a pretty tough game.
How many runs did you say it took you?
The first time I beat it, I want to say like 15 or something like that. I think I'm on like 20. Nice. I'm on like 20 something now. I just booted it up and played a run before this just to get a refresher of it. But the combat is just so fun. That's the real hook, is the combat and the story. Really, like it's a surprising amount of good writing and story for like you don't often see that in roguelikes, especially, and indie games. Like Dead Cells is a good example, like a good equivalent to that.
That's all I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's a roguelike too, but I mean, there's really no story in that game. You die, and then you go back to the beginning, and then you repeat. But
yeah, which is easy to not play it because, like, there's nothing to keep you going. It's like the gameplay is fun. It is a fun game, but it's like, what am I really achieving? I guess like the next level?
Right. The big selling point of Hades when it came out was the story of like, you die, you go back, you talk to all these characters in like the hub world essentially, and they always have something different to say. I have never heard a repeated line of dialogue in all of my runs.
That's cool.
It's incredible. Like,
there's
impressive. So many different lines of dialogue, and they're all contextual too. Like, there's a boss that you fight, and if she kills you, essentially you'll meet her back in the hub world, and she'll say like, oh, she'll comment on like how she beat you, and you'll say like, oh, I'll get you next time, and all this stuff. Like it's insane, the amount of dialogue in that game, for all of the different iterations and situations. Like I can't say enough good things about that game. So when it comes to Xbox, you guys better play it.
Yeah, I will be all over that shit.
Yeah, I will be. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite games last year. So yeah, that's my number 3. Brandon?
My number all right, so my first 2 are all about gameplay. Just don't care about the story. It's just like the gameplay is kind of like the hook is going to keep you playing it. They're really fun. But these next 3, I feel like I got to even be careful of what I say. So my next pick is a little mix of both. It's Stanley's Parable. And it came.
I can't wait to talk about this game.
Right, and it's I don't even know how to talk about it because I feel.
Did you play this one, Dave?
This to be.
I have. I played it a while ago. I haven't played it recently.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it came out in 2011 by Galactic Cafe, and I think it's like kind of like the 2 dudes more or less put this together. I know there's other people. I know they got like a British actor named like Kevin. No, it's Kevin.
Well, it was originally. Based on a Half-Life mod, which
Source, yeah,
Source mod, yep. And they made it Source into a full game because it was so fucking good. But yeah, continue.
It is so good, and I just remember I forget how I came across this game. I just saw the game on Steam, and I watched the trailer, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. So I played it. I had no idea what I was doing. It technically is it's a walking simulator, and it's also a parody on the video game industry. I really don't want to ruin this game. I really don't. Yeah. I think it's one of those things where like you can only experience it once, kind of like Portal. But unfortunately, Portal's not an indie game. But if you enjoyed Portal, you will enjoy Stanley's Parable. It is a walking simulator. You don't have to worry too much. I don't think you have any inventory. I think you just interact with buttons, and it has the Bastion thing where it has a contextual narrator.
Yep.
It's fucking genius. It is so unique, and I don't want to ruin it.
I would say if you are interested in this game, don't look up anything about it.
Yeah, it's a good one to go in blind.
Just go in blind.
I can't even talk about anything about it.
One thing I will say is that like when I did play this game, I basically spent like an entire night with it. It's not a long game at all.
Same. It's as long as you want it to be. I guess wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Like
but
20, yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of different. I'll just say. I feel like it's not a spoiler.
Don't even. No.
All right, I won't say it.
No. Like I think this is enough right here. Me and you and like what we're doing right now is enough reason for I think people to be like, what the fuck are they like?
All right, I won't say it. I won't say it.
I think that's it. Please go play it. That's it. Next, we'll go
Just
to
play
Dave.
it.
Stanley Parable.
Before you jump, what platforms is it? Yeah.
I thought it's well. I know it's on PC.
It's
I
on
played on
PC.
my Mac, but
I think it did come to console. I think it came to Switch. But I played it on PC. It was free on the Epic Game Store a while ago, which is how I played it. But it is on. Okay, so I guess it's just on PC. I know it was slated for a Switch release, but for right now, it's just on PC. So
yeah, and Mac. So take it as PC, what it is. But
Linux.
Get your hands on it. You don't need a powerful card or anything like crazy.
No, not at all.
Seriously, just put it on there. It is so.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is coming to console, though, right?
I know
Eventually.
I know there was supposed to be a Switch release, but it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be a good replay.
Yeah.
All right, you're good there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
All right, my next one.
Floral.
My next one was developed by one person.
Yeah, baby. I know what you're gonna bring up.
By the name of Concerned Ape. It is an open-ended game allowing players to take on activities such as growing crops, raising livestock, crafting goods, mining for ores, selling produce, socializing with townspeople, including marriage and having children. It recently got an update that allows up to 4 players to play online. A little game by the name of Stardew Valley.
Yeah, baby.
Which is
I get to play it, but
it's
I
a
want
very
to.
pixely looking. It's basically like a farming simulator game. It's kind of reminds me of like those old Super Nintendo games.
It's Harvest Moon.
like those old
Harvest Moon spiritual successor.
Yeah,
They have an awesome website.
I never.
They got that really cool parallax, Eric, that you and I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, StardewValley.net. Look at that parallax. Oh,
Nobody cares about it.
Everybody loves parallax. But no, this dude just started making a game inspired by Harvest Moon. And he used it, like, he graduated college and he was using it as an exercise to improve his programming and design skills. And then he took him like 4 years to do it. And then a British studio approached him and offered to publish it. And literally the game completely blew up, sold over 10 million copies by 2020. So, I mean, I think that's a rousing success, but it is kind of, you take over your grandpa's farm after he passes away, you quit your day job, you go to this little town, you start farming, and eventually you start going into the mines and getting, fighting monsters and stuff like that. And I don't know, you can kind of do whatever you want, really.
I had no idea monsters were in this.
Yeah,
that was a fucking farm simulator, bro.
It's both.
No,
it's both.
If you go down
I didn't know there was
yeah.
dungeon shit. Oh,
but no,
now
it's
he's interested.
My kids eat this shit up. So we just hit the 3rd year, and at the beginning of the 3rd year, something happens. So that's something to strive for. But it's a good one. It's kind of infuriating when your kids start playing it and they start selling all your shit that you've worked so hard to grow or whatever. But
where are my strawberries?
Yeah, absolutely.
What you doing with strawberries?
You killed
I was
my
going to make
chickens?
goddamn jam out of that. What the hell?
Sell the jam, not the strawberries.
That's exactly what you need to do. So, I don't know. It goes through 4 seasons. So stuff only grows in certain seasons. So you got to have that going. You got to have your money set up for the beginning of the next season so you can buy seeds and get those fuckers in the ground. I don't know. And you just kind of go on, and it's a story all into itself. So you give people presents and you make friends and birthdays, and they have like town celebrations for all the holidays and stuff that you can go to and compete in silly little contests and stuff like that. But it's a great, I don't want to say, it'd be like a good podcast listening game or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
so people could listen to us.
Yeah,
while playing this game.
Please.
You're just doing all your like daily chores and everything. picking your crops, watering your crops, going fishing, trying to make money, selling stuff. I mean, I love this game. I didn't play too much of it. I want to say I only completed like the first year or something. Like I really didn't get super deep into it, but what I did play, like I had a fantastic time with, and it's always one that I've wanted to go back to. But yeah, like it is a quintessential indie game experience for sure.
It's got piles of awards and all sorts of 9s out of 10s across the board, pretty much everywhere. So go play that.
Yeah, baby. All right, I think I'm up next. Ooh, oh, we got a heavy hitter. Is that all you had to say about that, Dave?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Well, hold on real quick. Did you know, Dave, that I'm on their website and they have a tabletop version, the board game of Stardew Valley.
Shit.
Yeah, I heard they put that out. It's basically redoing a lot of the stuff that, I don't know if they kickstarted that or not, but yeah, they got a lot of that stuff done.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I saw that. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Another perfect Switch game. Like the Switch is just my indie machine. Like they got all the good indies.
It's all I can play.
Yeah, right. All right, here we go. Heavy hitter coming up next for my number 2. I think we've all played this one. A little game called What Remains of Edith Finch.
I thought this would be your last. So I'm curious what. Okay, yes.
This is number 2, baby. This was developed by Giant Sparrow, published by Annapurna Interactive, which, I mean, they've published a shit ton of awesome indie games. This game came out in 2017. I don't want to give away a ton about the story, but
no, you can skip around the story. Like, don't even talk. Like, the story is what drives you. But you could talk about like all the different game mechanics. Like, it's a game of games. Like, truly is what it is.
Well, I mean, the story is what kind of is the best part of this game. Essentially, I'll get into it. So essentially, you're this girl named Edith Finch, and the whole premise is you go back to the house that you grew up in, and basically the Finch family, her whole family is cursed. Like everyone in her family mysteriously dies in some way. And her whole story is just going back and reflecting on everything that happened throughout her life.
The most wildest
horrible
house,
things.
It's insane. Yeah.
This house is a mansion, and every family member lived there, and each family member had their own room. It's crazy. It's a crazy.
The house is awesome.
Like, why is this house so big?
Well,
that's the level.
Yeah,
that's the map.
I would say
that's
it's
the
a
thing.
mansion. Yeah, it's so cool. Like the it's not huge, but it's very dense. I would say, like, there's so many different little rooms and nooks and crannies and crevices.
Each room's like a chapter, though, because you have like these experiences that you do for the different family members.
Exactly. Yep. You basically go through each story of how each family member died, essentially. So not a very uplifting game, I would say.
It is very, very much not
depressing.
uplifting.
But it really doesn't bother. I mean, yeah, the end. Obviously, this is like a game with like a very emotional ending, but like, it's a very emotional game. But I didn't really get bummed out when I was playing it. They keep the charm there, and the gameplay is so unique. Because, like I said, like each level, like one time you're a baby, one time you're a 6-year-old, one time you're an 18-year-old, one time you're like 60 years old.
I mean, the overall like story and tone. Well, I would say the story is depressing, but I feel like the tone is sort of like
optimistic
unique and a little bit, optimistic. Yeah. And like each family member dies in such a ridiculous way, also that it's almost
true.
You can find the humor in it a little bit, you know.
Valid.
But yeah, I love this game. The reason why this game means so much to me, I do want to talk about the ending. So if you have never played this before, let's put a spoiler warning right here. Like, just skip ahead like 30 seconds.
Okay.
or a minute or something, because I just want to talk about the ending.
I would
really
say
quick.
a minute. Go for it. Go for it.
So yeah, I mean, obviously we know the ending. This whole time Edith Finch has been telling the story to her unborn child. She's been writing this journal for them to read. And essentially, she says, if you're reading this, then, I'm dead, because she knows her family's curse. Everyone dies. So
she died in childbirth.
She died, giving birth to her son. And then, her son reads this and essentially goes back to the house and finds her grave and all that stuff. And this, this is one of the games, probably the last game that I cried at, because I played this at you talk about a time and place when you play a game. I played this when my wife was I don't know, 7-8 months pregnant.
Yeah, dude.
So I was
that's what a wild time to play that game. Ending.
Yeah, I just happened to play
with that
it.
Twist.
And I knew nothing about this game going into it. I knew the basic
it had a reputation. Yeah.
I knew it was good. I didn't know anything about the ending or the story, and it just I don't know. It hit me in a way that a game really hasn't hit me before. So that's why I put this, I regard this game very highly. But yeah, I would say definitely one of my favorite indie games. That's why I put it number 2 on my list. So yep, that's it for that one.
My number 1 is very similar to that, but my number 2 is Katana Zero, and I just beat it last night. I was like, oh, I never finished that. I'm at the end. So I went back and I finished it. I finished the bunker level, and I finished the thing. It has I don't think this is a spoiler warning for anybody. It has a cliffhanger. So I'm hoping that the sequel's in the works and I can play it because the gameplay is really fun. But yeah, the game's called Katana Zero, and it was made by Game Maker. It was published by Devolver Digital and it came out in 2016. You play as a character called Players. Wow. Yeah. Yep, I know. Apparently, I think it didn't come maybe to Xbox till 2018 on Game Pass or something like that. 19,
I think it came out on Switch first, and that's where I played it. It's
sure.
Okay. Anyways,
it has that Super Nintendo 16-bit style to it, right? It is so
really smooth though.
Fun. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to sell about this, because the story's all over the place. In a cool way, though. In a cool way, where it has kind of a Matrix thing going on. Where you're just kind of doing shit, and you're you're Anderson, right? You're just doing your thing, and then you're like, wait a minute, hold on a second. What is really going on in this world? What am I really doing? Why am I killing all these people? And anyway, so it's this 16-bit game, and it has all these really cool mechanics. And I think the fun, if you've never played this game, go into it and just know that you got a wild ride ahead of you, and the story is all over the place in a cool Matrixy way, and it's kind of self-aware. It's very slick. It has a cool time mechanic. Well, not time mechanic. You can instantly redo the level once you die. You have to kill everybody in the one room. It's each level is a screen, but it's kind of like Golf Story, where you're this guy, and you're going around killing all these thugs and bad people to get to a boss, and you kill the bosses or whatever. But there's also these moments between. There's flashbacks. There's you going to the bar. You go into your apartment. There's this little girl that's constantly annoying you, and you have all these cut scenes between. There's a homeless guy scene, and there's some control over where the story goes.
That's the part that I thought was really cool, because I can't tell what they're directing you to do and what you're what you're actually supposed to do.
Right.
It seems like there's a couple different ways to go in there.
It has that Mass Effect kind of thing, right? Was it Mass Effect who has you can respond, but there's this gauge underneath it. If you answer now, it'll anger, it'll be aggressive, and then it turns white, and then it's not aggressive, and you. But the game will it's one of those things where the game will you don't know. Did I do this? Is this part of the game? Is this I have no idea what's going on. The game is a ride. It's
that was one thing about the game that, well, I don't know. I had a couple issues with this game, but I liked it overall. But I feel like the choices.
What were your issues?
I feel like the choices didn't really matter that much in the end, anyways. I don't think they really affect the outcome
the limitations
of the game.
Of the small team. Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I did like the fact that you can like do those different responses, but I don't think it really affects the outcome at the end. But that was just a small thing for a great game.
Oh yeah, no, it's so good. There's so much mystery. There's so much mystery going on because like you do a level, you kind of take out the guy, and then next thing you know, you're just hanging out with a psychiatrist, and he's like questioning you, and you can answer the way you want to answer, and it's pretty intense. And the music is so goddamn good. It'll either be like a Daft Punk kind of beat, or it'll be like this cool piano jazz kind of sound. I don't know. I was in love with the art, love with the music, love the direction. So I think just play it, man. It's one of those games like, please just trust us. This is a fun game, and I hope you can finish it because
it's tough.
Eric,
it does get pretty tough towards the end. There's a lot of like some of those last rooms I'm taking multiple runs on.
Yep, it's like N plus. He's just over. Oh, I did it. All right, cool. Over. Just
it's definitely more of like. I mean, it is like a combat game, but I feel like it's more of a puzzle game. Like,
but once you get good with the left trigger, when you can slow down time and you can deflect shots back and roll around, it's really just like, kind of. It's all, like one of those.
It's all trial and error. Like, this guy's going to be here. This guy's going to be here.
Just memorize, get a pattern. Yep.
You got to plan out like, okay, I'm going to kill this guy first, then this guy, throw a bottle at this guy. This guy has a gun. I got to dodge,
Yeah, you can be good at like Guitar Hero and probably like this game because there is kind of a rhythm to it in a way. We're like, like, I'm going to go this, I'm going to do 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 this, and then I'm done. All right, let's do it. And fucked up. And then you keep doing it. It's just like a solo in Guitar Hero. It's like, so yeah. I don't know. I don't want to give anything about the story away. It's a ride. It's so fucking good. I don't know. I just love the production of it was so good. So check it out. All right, back to you, Dave. This is your number one, man. Your number one independent game.
Last one on this list. I know, and I've got a ton. I've got two other lists after that, the honorable mentions and the indie games I still need to play because there's a whole bunch of them that I still need to play that I may crack this list once I get up there. But the last one on here is a game called FTL, Faster Than Light.
Interesting.
Came out in 2012. It is a roguelite. It is recognized with, Spelunky and some of those games as like they helped build the modern roguelike games that are coming out all over these days. I've got a couple of them in my honorable mentions, but it is a space-based, top-down, real-time strategy roguelike. I believe it was made by two guys, developers, Subset Games. Two guys, Justin and Matt, but it's basically you're taking a spaceship going across the galaxy. You got the FTL drives that lets you jump from system to system, but every system is procedurally generated and you kind of pick which way you want to go through the system and then you jump. But you always have, the rebels or some other group chasing you. So if you start to dilly dally in systems, you're just going to get trounced and run over. So you basically go all the way to the end until you're, try and defeat like the main boss ship at the end, which is not easy at all. This is only out on Windows, Mac, and iOS too. You can get it for iPad, which I would assume would be a great place to play it because having a nice big screen like that and having the touch screen on it, that would be a great place to play it. But
I love RTSs,
you're making runs. You're making runs through it until you beat that ship or you unlock something on your run, basically that like lets you start out with like a different crew or a different spaceship design and all that stuff. But basically, you're just seeing like your spaceship layout, and you're just saying like, all right, this guy go run the engines, this guy go run the engine. I don't know, engineering. This guy go run the guns. And they kind of run around and they level up and they do their things throughout the ship as you go through the
Kinda
galaxy.
badass.
Yeah, and you can get more people. You can have all these dynamic encounters where you can add more people to your crew, or you can run into pirates and they can teleport aboard your ship and start destroying rooms, and you got to find them and murder them on the ship and repair your rooms and put out fires. Or like when you start to get the cool ships, you can start like locking doors and then opening airlocks and sucking people out of the airlocks and stuff. It gets pretty intense. You can put out fires with the airlocks and stuff like that too.
Why is this game your number one, Dave? Like, what is it about this? Is this like, oh man, this is the one I'm going to close with? What is it about? Is it the gameplay? Is it unique?
It's a little bit of, I don't know, I get that Star Trek-y vibe off of it, but it's having a roguelite up at the top is just for the replayability, really, because a lot of games do a lot of crazy stuff. But I mean, when you come down to it, like a lot of my honorable mentions, you get, like we mentioned, Dead Cells or Void Bastards or Rogue Legacy, all those, like, they're all kind of the same type of games, but this was early enough and unique enough where I think a lot of games kind of cribbed off of it a little bit and kind of went on from there. But I don't know, it's just two guys making it, so it's not a crazy.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It doesn't have a ton of like crazy graphics or stories to it. It's, everything's text based. There's no voiceovers.
Yeah, this is not
like
Unreal
that.
Engine.
No. But I just thought the gameplay was super fun on it. I really wish it would come out on more things.
Console,
I don't know how you would really work it with a controller. Controller would be kind of.
Okay.
It's. I feel like it'd be great on Switch because, like,
Yeah, you could do Switch as a touchscreen. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that one deserved a bit of recognition.
Huh.
I guess, but yeah, we can.
Yeah, no, FTL is a cool.
Definitely worth trying out. Those roguelikes. I mean, you can hop in and out of them. But having it being stuck on a PC when I played it, that's kind of why I didn't put in as much time as I would like to on it. But yeah, get it on iPad. Go get it on the PC.
All right. That is a perfect. I couldn't ask for a better transition to my number one game.
Oh boy,
because
what do you got?
Because my number one game is from the same developer, publisher, Subset Games, and it's a little game called Into the Breach.
That's
this
right.
Game,
I forgot.
That's a fun one.
God, I can't stop.
I've never played it.
About
is that on Switch
game.
too? That's on
Never
Switch.
played it, but I've heard good things about it.
Oh yeah, that's where I've been playing it. And it's fucking amazing. It came out in 2018 on Switch. It was on PC before that, but it's a perfect Switch game. Because you can use the button controls. It's really good for the button controls, and it's just, I gotta get it right out there just to say, like, in my mind, this is like a perfect 10 out of 10 game in my book. Like, if I've ever seen one. I love the art style, amazing pixel graphics. It's like an isometric style, grid-based, turn-based strategy game. Like amazing sound design, music, technically flawless, like game design, incredible, like everything. It looks
about boring, but I've heard such good things about it. It's crazy. I look at it. It's not much to look at.
Don't just look at screenshots
chessboard.
Because
not really, but
it will not do it justice if you just look at screenshots.
That's my problem. Yeah, it's crazy. I heard so many good things about it.
It's just incredible. But yeah, it's great on Switch because you can use the button controls, but it also has like an entirely separate layout for touchscreen. So like anytime you can switch on the fly. So like if you're playing with buttons and you touch the screen, it'll swap the UI to the touchscreen controls. Like, it's insane. It just, like, it knows when you touch the screen, swaps the UI, you can do it on the screen, go back to button controls. So like super like smartly designed around all that stuff. But the gameplay itself, like I said, it's a turn-based strategy game. The basic premise of the game is, you got this alien race called the Vec. They're invading Earth. And you're like this squad of mechs essentially, and you have to go to each of these regions on Earth and defend against the Vec. And so each area, I think there's like, so this is also a roguelike. There's a ton of FTL DNA in this game. It's
Cool.
a roguelike, and each area, I think there's 5 different areas for each like run, essentially, quote unquote. And then within each area there, it gets progressively harder. And then there's a bunch of different regions. So I think after you beat like 5 different regions, you'll have to fight like a boss in that region and then move on to the next area. So it's that type of progression.
Okay.
But as far as the gameplay goes, like, I don't know, I just can't get enough of it. I guess you do have to be a fan of like turn-based strategy, but I would say this game is more of like a puzzle game, like we were talking about with Katana Zero. You kind of have to plan out each of your moves, because the cool thing about it is you know exactly what the enemy is going to do each turn. So you know where they're going to attack, when they're going to attack, who they're going to attack. So you basically have 3 mechs in your squad, and they all have different abilities. One's like a heavy, one's like science, like they all have different cool weapons and everything. So you have to basically, you have this grid meter. So when the aliens destroy buildings and stuff, your grid meter goes down, and when that goes to empty, basically your run is over. And it's cool because they work that into like the quote unquote, I mean, there's not a ton of story, but they work it into the story. Like, if you fail your run, you basically get to choose one of your pilots to go back in time and restart, the timeline. So you get to redo it over again. So I thought that was pretty cool. A good way to work in the roguelike elements. But I don't know. I just can't say enough good things about this game. Like, it's just insane.
How many sets of mechs have you unlocked? How many times through have you gone?
So not that many. I think I have 3 squads unlocked. Actually 4. I think I have 4 squads unlocked actually. But because that's some of the coolest thing I thought was like you can go through the game with the first initial set of mechs and you get used to like their little push moves, but then like as you move to the next set of mechs, like it is completely different from like the ones before you. Like they'll rely on completely different tactics and completely different strategies to go to make your way through these levels without, having all your shit get blown up. So that was one of the coolest parts, is how different it was from like run to run on those. Yeah, that's a good hook. Because, if you're not happy with one squad and you fail a run, you could try it with a different squad. And they all have like unique abilities across all the different mechs. There's like tons of different abilities to unlock and everything, and you could assign all these different abilities. But yeah, it's really cool. There's a ton of replay value, because I think there's up to like 10 different squads, I want to say, that you can play with.
Yeah, like there's a lot.
So yeah, I mean, on my first run, I actually beat the game, which was pretty cool. I mean, I was only on normal difficulty. I wasn't on like the hardest or anything. But yeah, I don't know. Something about this game really just hit right for me.
It's pretty satisfying when like you see that they're going to launch like missiles at a certain spot, and you like navigate your guy out of the way and you push one of their guys into the way, and then you end up like when you figure out all those puzzle pieces start falling into place and you start working your 3 as a group. It's really very satisfying.
There have been times where I've like sat on just staring at one screen for like 15 minutes, just like figuring out like, okay, if I do this, awesome. If I do this, then, this guy will get damaged. Or if you have to choose like, okay, I could sacrifice this building, or I could, my mech could take some damage. Or, the cool thing is figuring out a way to, prevent your mechs from getting damaged, kill the Vec, and prevent, any buildings from getting destroyed. And if you can like prevent all 3 of those things in one turn, yeah, like Dave said, it's super satisfying. And it's really cool because it's not based, your object isn't to like kill all of the enemies on the screen. It's basically to survive for 5 turns. So like if you can survive for 5 turns, they like after that the enemies retreat and then like you win the level. So you don't have to kill them all. You're basically defending the buildings, but obviously you can use offense to defend. So it's awesome. I love it so much. I'm probably going to play some more after this. So.
Yeah, you're good at selling the games that you've been picking. It sounds fun as hell, dude.
Dude, yeah, it's really good. Like, I mean, even if you're not into turn-based strategy and you like puzzle games, I would say this is a really good option.
There's a sweet spot there that I think a lot of people can have fun with. I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. I know, and it's funny because like it looks so boring, but like I think it's just you got to play it and play it to really see the charm. Yeah.
When I first saw it and looking at screenshots, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look like anything special. But once you play it, you get it.
That'd be a great one to see on like Xbox and PlayStation too. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get the controllers figured out. I think it's just Switch and PC.
Yep. Switch and PC, I think, just right now. So in case you want to check it out. But it's fantastic on Switch. Like I said, you get the best of both worlds. You get the button controls and the touchscreen controls, and you can swap up between them on the fly. So
yeah.
Great ass game.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good number one. I like it.
All right. Well, so I will do my number one, and I was looking at the year it came out, and I'm like, I still stand strong on my opinion that I don't know if it's my game of the year, but it came out in 2016, and I just was talking about Katana Zero. Dave, you're talking about Super Hot, right? Doom came out that year. Stardew Valley came out that year. Overwatch came out that year. Uncharted 4 came out that year. Titanfall 2, Dark Souls.
Good year for video
games. Inside, Final Fantasy 15, No Man's Sky. So it was a heavy year, and I played a lot of those games. Overwatch technically is my favorite game of that year. That's a Blizzard Activision effort though, and it's a perfect game. I love that game to death. It's definitely top 10 for me. But right behind it as an indie game, especially when I just finished it, and it's short, just like Katana Zero is like 4 hours, and Stanley Parable's like 2 to 4 hours. Firewatch is my game. Firewatch is how you felt with what was the game called? Edith Finch.
What Remains of Edith Finch?
Yeah. How I felt with Overwatch.
Firewatch.
It was an emotional game. It's a
Firewatch. Yes.
What'd I say? Overwatch. Overwatch. Yeah.
You said Overwatch.
Overwatch is fantastic. Firewatch had such an emotional story. It has an emotional start. The whole concept is very kind of like emotional. And I think the acting is extremely good, probably because they use like actors from like TV. So they were just like, these are people who are really good at getting into character. I don't know, man. It's tough for me to talk about these games because I don't want to ruin it. It's a walking simulator. That means you won't die. You'll just
walk around, exploring.
Yeah, but the story...
You can give the basic premise.
Yeah. All right, well, here, how about this?
Get the setting.
Yeah, how about this? All right, yeah, I'll do that real quick. So, Camp Santo came out this game in 2016 called Firewatch, and it's you play as this guy named Henry in 1989 out in Wyoming. The place is called Shoshone National Forest, and you're in this situation where your wife has dementia, early dementia, and you are trying to get away from life because it's a heavy burden. She doesn't really even remember who you are. Like, you have this whole sad story with you and your dog where like you got a dog together, she got dementia, and then she started forgetting. The dog died. She's like, I don't even know what dog you're talking about, and all that stuff. And so yeah, he's out doing this thing, and he's like, I'm just gonna be watching over this forest in a tower, and just gonna get away from everything and rethink about what I'm doing with my life. The only communication you have really is your walkie-talkie to this woman, Delilah, who's the tower head. Like, she's like the chief person who's in charge of all the towers, the watchtowers in the forest for forest fires. And so you're on a fire watch, right? And again, it's 1989. The artwork is like Pixar. It's a first-person game. And you walk around, and at times you think it's a horror game because the way they like introduce things, and other times it's like X-Men. Honestly, I don't like that's enough story for you. Seriously, please go play this game. It's not long at all.
They do a lot of bait and switches, I should say.
Yeah, and I don't know, but it's like good. It's just so well done. And I don't know if Camp Santo's ever done anything else. I know they had another game, Gods of Olympus or something like that, and it got canned or paused, or I don't know. But talented crew. I love the map
Campo
mechanic.
Santo is owned
really cool.
by Valve now.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
they're
probably what's getting in their way.
Whatever that game, I forgot the name. I forgot the name of that game, but it was shelved essentially, and they're like doing support on other Valve projects, which is kind of disappointing because they are a fantastic indie studio.
Well, it's my fucking number one game. It like was only outdone by like either Uncharted 4 or Overwatch. But like other than that, like this game, I've just never had emotions in a video game before. I really, it introduced me to the concept of a walking simulator. I kept hearing about this, and like I remember Polygon was like did a podcast on it, and I was just like, this sounds like a blast. So I checked it out, and I even put it on Twitch. It's like one of the few times I put it on Twitch, and I had like 14 people like watching me at one time. I was just like, this is kind of cool. Like people are just watching me play this game. Like, yeah, it was kind of cool. But yeah, it's the acting was so good. It was some of the best acting I've ever experienced in a video game. We've
It was
all
really
played
good.
it,
Like
right?
the conversations,
The tension in that game was super good.
Yeah, the way they built up the tension, the conversations between Henry and Delilah, like they felt real, you know. Like it wasn't just a normal like video game VO dialogue. They really did a good job with the voiceover in this game. Like you said, they got some pretty well-known actors. The guy who played Henry was someone, I forgot his name, but he's from Mad Men.
Yeah, he's the bearded guy that gets high. He's like a copywriter.
Yeah. Yep. So super great talent in that game. And yeah, just like the conversations just felt so natural. I don't know if I would say I was disappointed in the ending. But
I was gonna say that too.
I was hoping that it would
It
go
is
in like
one of those endings.
Yeah, I was hoping it would go more in like the supernatural direction because that's where it kind of was heading. But I mean, it's
oh, dude.
I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but
yeah,
like,
I was sold. I instantly gave it a 10 out of 10 when I found the spoiler for the next 20 seconds. Okay, fast forward 20 seconds. When he found the body of the kid, I was devastated in that game. I was so sad. And that was it. So that was it. I just want to get that thing out there. Like, that's when I knew, for me personally, I was like, that's where the story was going. And it threw me off. And then that's the reality. I'm like, oh my God. From then on, I was just like, this game is fucking heavy as shit. And then I was just like an emotional mess. I was just like, and then at the end, with everything between Henry and Delilah, I was just like, I have never cared about characters in a video game before. And they got me. They got me so good with this game. I was just like, so when it ends the way it ends, I was just like, I've never been fragile in a video game story before, so they got me. So to me, that all worked.
There you go.
Whether I liked it or not, the ending, it was not the point. The point of that ending was to do like what they did with you with the other game, where like with Edith Finch, it's just like, you might have an idea whether you want it to go or where you think it'll go, but we have an idea where it's going to go, and you're not going to see it coming. And I don't know, I kudos to them, because most fucking video games have shit stories, shit acting, and predictable as fuck, and they do cliffhanger bullshit. And I just thought this game was just like perfect, done, and it's short, and it's just like, what else could you want out of an independent game? So again, oh yeah, and real quick, the game was called In the Valley of Gods, and technically it's still in the works, but it's just.
Oh, I thought I remember seeing a trailer for that. That one looks kind of.
There was
I'm looking at photos. It looks gorgeous.
A while ago, and yeah, it's shelved indefinitely for now, since Campo Santo is like a support studio for Valve now. But whatever, maybe it'll come back someday.
Yeah, and the artwork is really good too for Firewatch. Just stunning artwork. Like, it has like a really cool aesthetic where they kind of match like the national parks across the United States, like that 1940s 50s flat illustration look. So all their promo was it's just everything about it. It's just the production was so goddamn good. So yeah, that was my number one. You guys had honorable mentions. I'll just list mine off real quick. I don't have many, but Kingdoms, specifically Two Crowns, because it's co-op. Really cool.
Oh, that one was fun.
Real time.
That was a really good game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even. It's whatever it is. It's just like a 2D. I don't know. It's unique. It has a little strategy building RTS kind of thing to it. I don't know. It's pretty unique. And then they put Hollow Knight. I thought Hollow Knight really did deliver on the controls for 2D Metrovania platformer, just like Ori did. But I don't know. I thought Hollow Knight did a really good job as well. I know Ori gets a lot of the attention, and like put Cuphead in there. Even though Microsoft was all over them, I think it was technically independently developed. But Dave, I put Her Story as my number one honorable mention, because how fun of a ride was that?
That was a good one.
Game, right? That's it. That's all I had. And Her Story is cool. Just check it out. I don't even. Dave talked about a game before, with like the dating game or something like that in one of the episodes, co-op. So,
5
check
Dates.
out Her Story.
Those are a lot of those FMV, like video choose your own adventure games. Like,
choose your own adventure.
Those are kind of like all
games.
there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What did
Her
I
Story
have
just
on
has
here?
like an amazing story. That's all.
Yeah, that one's a trip.
Great acting. She actually got like best actress for video games. I think like best voice acting or something like that, or some award. By the way, but sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Oh shit. Just a couple of the roguelikes. Darkest Dungeon is, I've been playing that one recently. Slay the Spire.
Ooh, yes.
Slay the Spire.
Hand of Fate was kickstarted for a while. I don't want to steal any off of Eric's list here. The Messenger. That's like a Ninja Gaiden clone from the. It's like an NES Ninja Gaiden clone.
I'm thinking Witness. Yes, the Messenger is fantastic.
That's got a real good.
I gotta play that one.
It is
comedic style.
Way better than you think it is. Yeah, it's so good. And I love that when you die, you get that little fucking demon guy. He's like, "All right, I'll bring you back to life, but it's gonna cost you." The humor in it is really good.
Rogue Legacy was a good one. Spiritfarer came out last year. That was a really good.
That's another
indie game that I didn't get all the way through, but that one has a pretty heavy story to it. I mentioned Spelunky earlier, but that's one that's kind of crazy. And then the last two, I left it off my list because I didn't know if it was quite an indie game. Because I found out that it was because The Odd Gentleman developed it, but it was published by Activision. But the King's Quest 2015 episodic reboot.
They were fun.
It was just a fantastic little side game that you can play, especially if you played the old games, because it's basically like King Graham is an old man retelling all his old stories, basically.
Yep.
And it kind of
Christopher Lloyd, right?
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd is fantastic in it too.
Wow. That's cool.
So
he's like the voice of
that
him.
was one that I got pretty sad in. I got a little teary towards the end of.
Okay.
But,
really? Oh, I gotta go back and play more of it then. I have.
There's 5 chapters, and each one is probably a couple hours. So that one came out over time, and it takes a lot of that point and click adventure stuff and kind of modernizes it a lot and adds some puzzles to it and a whole bunch of stuff. Yep. So It was super good. And the last one was this is a deep cut. A game called Arcade Craft that came out for the Nintendo came out for the Xbox 360. It is how do I summarize it? It is a sim game where you're opening a video game arcade in the 1980s, and you basically there's
cool.
like 80 something cabinets in it, and they have like copies of like Space Invaders and Donkey Kong, except it's called like Space Insects and Gorilla or like stuff like that. But you basically buy these games and you set them up. You charge how much ever you want for it. You can move stuff around. You can run sales. It's a really simple game. I think probably only one dude probably made it. It seems that simple. It was Firebase Industries was the company that made it, but you're basically running your own 80s arcade. And it's, there's a new game coming out that looks a lot like it. I forget what it was called, but I remember seeing something.
Eric, didn't you share it on Discord?
I think Dave shared it.
Oh, that was Dave?
And,
okay.
I thought it looked sweet. Or maybe I did.
I
don't remember, but
it looks,
yeah.
This one came out on 360. It was like, I think I bought it for like $3 back in the day. And I don't know. It's just a fun little side sim game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I had a couple on my need to play list, but like Eric said, Hades, I haven't played yet. Disco Elysium, coming to Xbox soon. Need that. Obra Dinn looked really cool. That was a lot of people like that one.
Still gotta play that one too.
Baba Is You seemed really cool. And then Shovel Knight.
Yep.
Shovel Knight is one that I've been meaning to play for the longest time.
I got the same list, Dave.
You gotta play. Both of you have to play Shovel Knight.
I've heard Shovel Knight is fantastic. I've heard nothing but. I heard it's like 10 out of 10.
I mean, it's just an homage to all those old platforms. It's basically like a Mega Man type deal.
Super
like
hard?
Homage type thing. Not super hard. I wouldn't say it's like super difficult, but it's it's good. It's just a super solid like homage to those 16-bit platformers.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll run through my honorable mentions. I have a lot of them, so I won't explain all of them. But Axiom Verge is just a super awesome Metroidvania shooter. If you're into that, we mentioned a couple Supergiant games already. Check out Transistor. That's another one of their games. Night in the Woods was really good. That's like I don't know if you guys played that one.
No, pass. I know what it is though. I think I played it for like a couple of minutes on my Xbox. I'm just like,
I was cold on it at first.
There's no playing. I feel like it's all story. I'm like, is there any playing in this game?
The story like takes a really good turn in the middle.
Okay.
I was like, I think I stopped playing it for a while, and then I came back to it, and I'm super happy that I did because the story is really good. It's just a story based, like you're just running around this town. You're a cat. It's all animal people, but the writing is really good.
I didn't know it was all story.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. A Short Hike. I won't really explain that one. It's really good. That's another like it's very similar to Night in the Woods as far as like your animal people, but it's like a combination of almost like Animal Crossing and Breath of the Wild. Like it has those Breath of the Wild like climbing mechanics. Like the whole goal is to get to this top of this mountain and like make a phone call to your mom. So it's a really sweet premise. But it has like Breath of the Wild climbing mechanics, which was really fun. Oxenfree, another really good story-based game, has some supernatural twists in there.
Oh yeah, that's a cool game. The conversation really like mechanic was really cool in that.
Yep. Let's see, Gato Roboto, which is another super. it's a really short Metroidvania, but again, you're a cat in like a mech suit, which I mean that should sell you right there. Minute is a really interesting
Minute's
game.
cool.
That one's a weird one.
It's one of the more unique ones that I played. So basically, the whole premise is you're this little guy and
1 minute.
Each run lasts 1 minute, and basically you're just trying to progress as far as you can in 1 minute, and like, you know, you'll get clues on what to do next, and there's certain like checkpoints you can get, so you know you'll start in a different starting
And
point
the actions
after
you
die.
perform in a run carry over. So like if there's like
Right.
a bridge and the bridge isn't like accessible, you could do something in the 1 minute to unlock it so that way when you die or you reboot, the next minute you can go through and
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. That's a really good one.
Outer
It has,
Wild
like,
is the same thing. It's just like I think it's like a 5-minute timer.
It's
cool
it's
mechanic, though.
longer. But yeah, Minute has a really cool art style. It's like very reminiscent of original like Game Boy art. It's like black and white style, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Enter the Gungeon and Exit the Gungeon.
Yeah,
both super
buddy.
great games.
And hard. Those
Yep.
bosses are hard.
Yeah. Yep, very hard. Little Nightmares. That's
Yeah, I just started playing that. That's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, because none of us mentioned fucking Inside or
I was
Limbo.
gonna mention Inside.
Yeah,
those
Inside and
games
Limbo.
are
I already
all
played
like
Limbo
that.
this week, and it's not as great as I remember.
It's old.
Inside's
though.
better. Inside's better for sure. Limbo's good, but Inside's way better. I mean, those, if you're interested, those are like side scrolling.
Limbo started
puzzle
that
games,
whole thing, though,
you know?
right?
Like atmospheric, yeah.
Yeah.
Atmospheric side scrolling puzzle
The
games,
silhouette
which are really cool.
Kind of
Yep.
platformer, instant death, kind of, yeah.
Let's see, Cave Story, which I think that's like regarded
Cave
as like the
Story.
original indie game. That's one of the first like quote unquote indie games as we know them nowadays. That's like a lot of indie games are like Metroidvania type games.
Well, that one
which,
you could pick.
I'm all in for.
You could pick the different character. You pick like 3 of 6, but you could pick any combination of them. But any combination of them can get you through.
No, I know what you're thinking of. That's an Xbox Live game. No, he's thinking of a 3DS game. No?
No, yeah, that's not the one. That's not the one that I'm thinking of. It's like a pretty straightforward, like, yeah, you just play as this one character. I don't know. I played that one a couple years ago, but that's a fun one. Ape Out. I don't know if you guys have ever seen or heard that one.
The Cave,
one-
Dave. The Cave.
Oh, The Cave is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of at first as well. When I typed up Cave Story, then it came out what he's saying.
Okay.
The Cave is okay. I couldn't get far in that game. It was all right, though. Sorry.
Yeah, Ape Out. I don't know if you guys have seen that one before, but that one is really freaking cool. It's like it's a top. Basically you play as a gorilla escaping the zoo, and it's like a top down. The art style is awesome, and it's the music goes with your actions, so it's like freeform jazz. And every time you like basically you're going through these levels trying to kill all these humans and escape, and every time you like throw something or swing it, you know, you get like a cymbal crash, or like as you're walking through you get the like
That's
the jazz
dope.
music going. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at the artwork for the game, and it's
You would
almost
like this game, Brandon.
Yeah, it reminds me of like, I don't know, like N+, where it's just very like vectorized, very
Yep.
flat. But I like that the album cover is like a jazz 19
Yep.
like 50s album.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, this is
so
cool. I've never
The
heard
cool
of this
thing
game.
about
I
this
don't
game
think.
is each yeah, dude, it's really good. Each level is a different album, so each level has a different aesthetic and sound. So it's really cool when you're going through the levels and you're just hearing all like the music that, you know, it's going with your actions. So I would highly recommend that one.
Okay.
And then yeah, we brought up Void Bastards before. That was my last one. It's a first person shooter roguelike.
Roguelike?
And you're just going you're just going through these ships and trying to make it. I think you're like a prisoner, and you're basically just trying to do these tasks to win your freedom. That was a really good one. But yeah, those were all my honorable mentions.
Sweet.
That was a good list.
And I think
That was a lot of games.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Hope
That was a lot of
everybody
games.
wrote all those
It was
down.
a lot of games, but I'm glad we did this because one, I just wanted to give a shout out to indie games, but two, I got like an awesome list now. Like Dave, FTL sounds fun on the iPad. Ape Out, I'm gonna have to check out like Into the Breach. So I'm good. Like I got an awesome list of indie games to play, and I just finished a couple. So yeah, I don't know. Thanks for the game recommendations. These are awesome.
It's the best because
Great thing about
indie games is cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Yep.
They're relative. They're
And you're
usually
supporting
shorter
small business in America.
experiences. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Make America great.
Yeah,
Buy more indie games.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
Yeah. You do always say that. Hey, Eric, what's going on? No, all right. Yeah, I know. You say that all the time. Okay, you guys got anything else to say? Otherwise, Dave is going to be hosting a fun new game for us.
I'm ready.
Yeah, just
Should be interesting.
Support indie studios. If you only play AAA games, I would say try to, take some of these recommendations and just try some out. I mean, there's an insane amount of indie games out there, and you're bound to find one that that clicks with you.
Here.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, let's take a break and then let's play some games with each other. All right, that sounded weird.
I came up with a new game called Two Truths and a Lie. It's completely created it from the ground up. Nobody's ever done this before.
Yes. How does it work?
Basically, what I'll do, I'm going to say 3 things, statements. 2 of them will be truths, and 1 of them will be a lie. And all you 2 have to do is just tell me which one of them is the lie. Like, you both can pick
That's
the same
it?
one. You can both pick different ones. It's simple, straightforward. I got 5 little setups here, so 15 things total, but we'll do them 3 at a time. So if you guys are ready, I have a number in my head. Brandon, what is it?
Oh, God. 7.
1.
No, it was 8 this time, actually.
Ooh.
So Brandon, you get to go first.
Wow.
You get to, I guess you get to choose first.
Is that bad? Is
Yeah,
that
I don't
good
know.
or bad?
Yeah, it probably is worse to go first.
I don't know. Depends on which one you go with. All right. So, here is the first group of statements. Number 1, Shigeru Miyamoto's first game was never released in the United States. Number 2, ice climbers invented or helped popularize jumping in video games. Or number 3, the Game Boy creator started out as a janitor at Nintendo.
Oh, these are good ones.
Those are 3 statements.
Man, these are
Which
tough.
one of them is the lie, Brandon?
I'm going to go with the first one was the lie.
Miyamoto's
game didn't come out.
first game was never released in the United
Yes.
States.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Eric, you need me to reread any of them?
No, that was the one I was thinking too.
Same one as well. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one as well.
Both of you are locking
The
in.
first one. Yep.
Well, that is actually true. Miyamoto's first game was never released in the United States. It was a game called Devil World. And apparently back in the day, Nintendo had some very strict policies on content in games, especially when it comes to religious imagery. And the game was basically a Pac-Man clone. The lie was ice climbers did not help invent or popularize jumping in video games.
Okay.
It was Donkey Kong.
I remember that one. Yep.
Jumpman, yes. I was thinking if Pitfall had come out earlier, because Pitfall had jumping too, but
what am I thinking?
either way, Ice Climbers was not it. All right. So goose eggs for both of you.
That was a good lie. That was a good lie to come up with.
Like, very sneaky. All right, next group. This is a good one. Number 1, Kirby's original name was Tinkle Popo. Number 2, Nintendo released a phone in Japan. Number 3, the Nintendo 64 had a disk drive add-on. Eric, you are up first this time.
Huh.
Kirby's original name was Tinkle Popo. Nintendo released a phone in Japan, or the Nintendo 64 had a disk drive add-on. One of these is not true.
Fuck.
You look very concerned over there. Like you're thinking extra hard on this.
Tinkle Popo. What the fuck? I've never even heard of that.
That's.
That sounds crazy enough to be true. I don't know if you would be able to make that up.
That's part of the tough one, was coming up with lies. Coming up with silly shit.
I want to say, I don't want to talk through it too much to give Brandon hints. So
I go with number 1. Yeah, I think Kirby is a lie. I think number 1's a lie because Kirby was, from my understanding, he was just like a pink dot. They just kind of made something, right? And then they didn't know. Then they kind of got used to the shape of Kirby, and then they kind of just made him up on the fly, right? Or am I wrong?
I don't know the deep and dark history of Kirby. It was probably something much more sinister than that. But final answers locked in. Nintendo did not release a phone in Japan. Eric gets the point here.
Yeah, baby.
What? Kirby's original name was Tinkle Popo.
Oh, really?
Sick.
It was a GDC 2011 keynote. Then President Satoru Iwata confirmed that Tinkle Popo was indeed Kirby's original name, and that it ultimately changed to Kirby after Nintendo realized that the name would not play well with American consumers.
I would have played Tinkle Popo over Kirby.
I always thought that he was just kind of made up with no thought process. They kind of just happened. Huh. All right.
It looks like it, but all right. There we go. 1 point for Eric.
Was the 64 DD ever released? I don't remember. Was that actually a thing on the market?
In Japan, but it hit the ground. You know the 64 DD then? I do, okay. Yeah, I had never even heard about that until I was looking for weird shit to make up. So, apparently they were trying to figure out like the cartridge problem, and they put out an add-on, and it just it was a big pile of shit in Japan, so they just never released it here.
Okay.
All right.
Sweet.
Next group. Let's see. Let's go here. All right. Number 1. The NES is the longest lasting gaming console. Number 2, Paul Rudd was in a Super Nintendo commercial. Or number 3, the name Nintendo can be roughly translated from Japanese to English as "leave fun in heaven." Brandon, you are the first person.
Number
the
1.
The NES was the longest lasting game console. It is false, says Brandon. Okay. Eric, do you need any repeats?
What was the last one again?
The name Nintendo can be roughly translated from Japanese to English as "leave fun in heaven."
Okay, I'm trying to think of the years on the NES.
Came to North America in 1985.
That's what I thought. I know there was some late NES games in the 90s, but okay, I'm gonna go with 1 as well.
1 as well. That, my friends, is true. The NES is the longest lasting gaming console.
Really?
Came out in North America in 1985 and Japan in 1983. The NES lasted almost a full decade longer in Japan.
Is it hardware production or is game production? I was thinking game production. I bet it's hardware production. I did not think of that. I'm thinking because if you're making games for Nintendo, you can also go all the way back to Atari and people still make like homebrew Atari games.
Yeah. This is strictly Nintendo, but
The lie must be the
literally,
last one, because I know Paul Rudd was in a
Nintendo.
Wii. I feel like the Wii is so
Nintendo
supported. How is
finally
that
called it
possible?
quits in 2003, full 20 years after it released. They
Sure.
finally stopped it with that thing. So
Wow.
2003, that
2003?
is
Wow, that's insane.
that is fucking long ass time.
Who's the
but
company?
yes, Paul Rudd
But
was
who's the
in Super
company?
Nintendo.
That's crazy.
I'm guessing Nintendo's putting shit out for it. So
I knew about the Paul. I knew
That's my
about the
guess.
Paul Rudd thing. So it
Yep.
must be the last one.
Yep. Yeah.
That was a good.
yeah, the real translation of Nintendo to English is "leave luck to heaven," not "leave fun to heaven."
Sure.
Or leave
Whatever.
fun
Okay. All right.
Leave luck to heaven. Well, whatever. Yeah.
Well, they
Alright.
were like a
Tricky.
card manufacturer in the very beginning, I think, originally.
Yep, that makes sense.
Before they got
Wow.
everything else.
Speaking of which,
Oh, cards.
number one, Nintendo originally made sexy playing cards.
Ooh, sexy playing cards.
Number two, original Xbox's final title was Madden NFL 2009. Or Bill Gates was originally in talks with CEO Nobuku. I can't even say that. Sony CEO to create a PSX before the launch of the original Xbox.
What? Hold on. Say that last one again.
So, Bill Gates was in talks with the Sony CEO before the original Xbox to create a PSX.
Interesting. Okay.
Number one, Nintendo made sexy playing cards. Number two, original Xbox's final title was Madden NFL 2000 or 2009. Number three, Bill Gates, Sony CEO, Nobukuyuki Idai. I'm horrible, but
Butcher.
they were gonna cross marginate. Yeah, that was pretty butchery.
Oh.
Who's up first? Eric here?
Yeah. Wow. Man, these are
Yeah.
tough. I'm impressed.
Yeah, 3 is interesting because you know that Nintendo and Sony have a version out there where they collabed and made a console together.
Yep.
So would Sony
That is true.
collab with Microsoft to do that? You know, like Nintendo and Sony are Japanese companies. I don't know. I don't want to give you ideas, but I'm just thinking about that whole.
Right. I think. Are you trying to misdirect me here or what?
No, I'm brainstorming with you.
Oh man, this is tough. Oh man. Fuck. What was number 2 again? I fucking forgot.
Xbox's the
Oh,
original
Madden.
Xbox's
The
final
Madden
title,
game.
Okay.
Madden 09.
Wow. That one I could believe.
What was the first one, Dave? Sorry, we're bad.
Nintendo originally made sexy playing cards.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we know it made cards.
Right.
But
I don't
whether-
know if they were sexy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh fuck. I feel like this one's the toughest one yet, man. I just gotta take a shot in the dark here and say, for some reason, my gut is saying the first one, the Nintendo one, because I don't know. I don't know if they were sexy. I think they were just regular playing cards, but maybe I'm wrong. But that's what I'm going with.
I'll go with 2.
Let's
I
see,
don't
the original
think the
Xbox.
last- Yeah, the last game was 2009.
I could easily.
I don't know, probably wrong on that, but
Madden,
yeah,
for sure.
it sounds so believable that that's why I'm going against it because it
Well-
sounds so obvious.
I'm sorry to say that you are both losers on this one. Both of those are true.
Oh wow.
I almost went
Bill
with 3.
Gates. They
Thought
did
about
try. Bill Gates was in talks with over there, but Sony ended up rejecting the offer, and Gates reportedly took it quite personally, recognized the PS2 as a major threat to PC gaming. They ended up investing heavily in Xbox
Oh,
because
interesting.
Sony told them to piss off. Yeah, there was some weird
Okay.
stuff. Yes, Nintendo made sexy playing cards. They owned, quote, love hotels at one point and were party to some weird, vaguely pornographic games in the early years of the NES.
I do remember those. I remember the porn games on NES.
That is weird and creepy. So, I'll leave it at that. No, certainly no Leisure Suit Larry. So we're still at Eric with 1 and Brandon with a big fat goose egg. Man,
Crazy.
I made these a little too tough.
These are good though. I like these.
I guess.
No, it's
I guess
fun.
that's
Yeah,
means
it's
they're
not as
good.
stressful.
All right. Well, since we had some Nintendo, we got a little bit of Xbox. This one's over to PlayStation. So, number 1, the first major Sony developed game was Motor Tune Grand Prix. Number 2, the PlayStation was the first major console to offer external memory cards for save games. Or number 3, the best-selling game on PlayStation 1 was the sim racing game Gran Turismo.
Oh my god, this is not fair. What was the first one again?
The first major Sony developed game was Motor Tune Grand Prix. Tune as in Toon. Brandon, you were up first on this one.
Yep, first game was Moto Grand 2, whatever. Then the third one was
the PlayStation was the first major console to offer external memory cards. Is number 2,
and then Gran Turismo is the last. Yeah.
Gran Turismo was the best-selling game on PlayStation 1.
Okay, I'm gonna go with number 2.
Interesting. Okay.
Brandon says it was not the first console to offer external memory cards.
That is my choice.
Huh.
Eric.
So the first one was just read that one again.
The first major Sony developed game was Motor Tune Grand Prix.
I'm gonna go with that one is false. It's bullshit, but maybe I'm wrong. But that's my final answer.
Well, as disappointing as it is, that is actually true. The first major Sony developed game was Motor. No, that's true.
Oh no, I thought I
No,
was.
no,
I thought I was
people-
right.
No
Thumbs
hands
down.
up in there. By a team called Polys. It would go on to later become Polyphony Digital, creator of the legendary Gran Turismo series.
Wow, interesting.
The Gran Turismo series. Let's see. Let me find the last one. The best-selling games on the PlayStation was Gran Turismo,
Yeah, it's
Brandon's right.
massive.
followed by Final Fantasy VII, Resident Evil, Tekken 3, Tomb Raider, and Crash Bandicoot. The first one was... Or no, the second one was a lie. PlayStation was not the first console to have the
Nice.
memory cards. The first one was the SNK Neo Geo. PlayStation was the second major console to offer external
Good call.
memories.
Good one. Wow.
So, unfortunately, we ended up at a tie.
Oh, that's it. No tie break. Okay,
Cliffhanger.
our first tie.
Hold on, I can... no, we don't like that.
We're not tying. Okay.
Let me look something up real quick here.
Oh my! All right.
All right,
Well, there you
we'll
go.
do this one right here. Video game demographics, 27 powerful stats.
Ooh, can't
All
wait.
We're just going to pick up. You both are going to give me a number. Tell me the average gamer is this many years old.
Oh God.
Okay.
This
Who goes first here?
an
Eric?
interesting
Eric, you go first?
tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think it's Eric's choice
Closest.
to
No,
start.
we're shooting at it because
Okay.
I don't want you guys to tie again and make me have to come up with another one. I need a average gamer is this many years old. Eric, doesn't matter if you go over, just whoever's closest. I guess I can do that math.
The average gamer. Shit. Okay. I feel like
This is coming from techjury.net is giving us these demographics.
I feel like it's like me, so I'm just gonna go with 26. My age.
26 years old. All right, Brandon.
I think it's way higher, dude.
Really?
I'm gonna. Oh yeah, my initial number was 42, so I'm gonna maybe lower it to 38 just so I can just be more confident and get the win.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
It's Yeah, I'll go 38.
38. Final answers. The average gamer is 34 years old.
Okay.
Yeah,
Brandon
I knew it was
takes
going to
home
be in the
with
30s. I
this
just
one.
thought it would be way high. I thought it'd be 30. I thought the number's going to be like 36, 38. But I was just like,
I have no fucking clue. I just took a shot in the
You
dark.
gotta remember all these old people gamers. 70% of gamers are 18 or older. 45% of US gamers are women.
Wow.
Bet you didn't know. Well, it's good. It's fun to learn those random things. That's what I was going to end up pulling some questions from, is like random statistics, but I thought these little factoids would be a little more interesting. So, congratulations, Brandon. You're
yay.
Good game.
finally the victor.
All right. I am victorious.
Don't
Eric.
be too cocky.
Do you mind just plugging some social activity and then we'll wrap things up?
Yeah. So you can, as always, follow us on Twitter at Nomads of Fantasy. Shoot us an email at nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com for whatever you want. Still waiting on that first email. Send it in. Anything. I'm begging.
Nobody uses email anymore.
That's true. Whatever. Follow us on Twitter, at least. At Nomads of Fantasy. Just to do a quick little Twitter plug here. I asked before we recorded to let us know what your favorite indie games were on Twitter, and we got a reply from Jacob Iveson, an avid listener to our show.
Yep.
So we really appreciate that. But he said he never really got into indie games, mostly because he barely has time for the AAA games he buys, but never gets through. But Hotline Miami was so much fun, and Rocket League is considered an indie too before they got bought out by Epic. But he put a lot of time into that one, which Rocket League, I can agree, is fucking love that
dude.
game.
That's been around for ages before it was Rocket League.
Yeah, it had
was
some
around.
weird
There was a
name.
couple iterations of it.
Yep. Yeah, I fucking love Rocket League. I put a ton of time into that one. Hotline Miami is also on my backlog of games
Same.
to play. I bought that on
I've heard good things.
Steam summer sale last year and I bought like the whole
Okay.
collection. Haven't played it yet, but that's one I need to get to. But
Yeah, dude, I want to play
Nice.
those games.
Those are good ones.
Yep.
See, all he has to do is just buy one less AAA game, and you can fit in like 2 or 3 more indie games
That's the
into his
thing.
gaming schedule.
That's the thing.
That's
Yep.
yep.
Shorter,
Yeah.
cheaper, all that. Yeah, that's why we love them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're highly innovative. They're charming.
Creative,
Sometimes the
unique,
stories
yep.
are very they're worth your time for sure. So, yeah, definitely. All right, well, I think that's it. I think we can wrap up. It was a long one.
So it was
but
a
we
long
gave-
one, boys. Long haul.
for like the short one. For the short games, we spent the most amount of time, but we talked about a lot of stuff. So I thought it was awesome. Yeah, thanks guys. That was great.
Yeah, play some of these games that we talked about, and let us know what you think. There's so many to choose from. Just fucking play them.
Do you want to hear my poop story? Do we want that on record?
You could if you could put this in, as a little Easter egg. At the
Just
end.
one little part of it, but I had to drop my brother off at the airport I had to leave my house at 4:30 in the morning. And like you said, Eric, sometimes you try and poop and your body not ready to let it go. I tried pooping twice at 4:30 in the morning because I know that once my body gets up, like one of the first things it does is it has to poop. Get all the way to the airport, drop him off. By the time I'm like shutting the door, dropping him off from like baggage claim or whatever, I'm like, shit, I'm not getting home right now. It's like, when I drop him off, it's like 5 a.m. So there's literally nothing open anywhere. I'm going down Genesee. I see a little like business park or whatever. I just pull right in. There's like a row of pine trees just behind it. reach in the glove box, grab some Kleenex, and I went and I shit between two pine trees off the on a little side road, and then just
You popped
just
a
left
squat in the pine trees?
and then just left it there,
God.
and then I was like, "Peace out! I'm going back home, and I'm going back to sleep. Fuck this."
Oh my God, you must have had to take a shit real bad.
Wait, hold on a second.
It
Did
hits you.
wipe?
It hits you like a thunder wave.
Tell me
Sometimes
what did you clean?
I had a
clean
whole
up with,
box of Kleenex in my car,
you animal?
so it was not like I was dirty on the way home or anything. But
Shit.
yeah,
Was
it
it-
was
Oh
a.
boy.
Was it at least a
Classy.
a clean wiper, or was it the one where you got to wipe like 100
Oh
times?
no, it was a clean wiper. Not like you're
All right.
like
Okay.
you're trying to wipe off a marker. No, it's not like that.
Yeah, that's good. That sucks.
Oh, I hate that marker butt.
Marker butt. I didn't know marker butt was a thing. Huh?
All right.